Hello, for those watching this in the hindsight that is the future of the internet. Hello, this is a Gauntlet Hangouts game you're watching. For those who don't know, the Gauntlet is a very cool community on the internet that gets together and play these cool role-playing games, indie games, story games, bits of the OSR here and there. It's all very fab. Check them out at the gauntlet-rpg.com. Links down below. They have a very regular blog. They put out a zine with some very cool stuff. They just opened up a new forums, just new forums basically to replace the dying husk that is Google Plus, although dying because of other people's decisions. That's another matter entirely. But also they have their Hangouts calendar where games are arranged and games are played, such as this one. The one we're playing, which is Masks: A New Generation, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse superhero game about teenage superheroes trying to figure out who they are because teenagers don't know jack about who they are. Well, they like to think so, but we know better. Before we get into that, let's meet the players we have today. We are one player short, and we're saying goodbye to one of them. But we'll get to that. But first, let's find out who these people are. So please introduce yourself, your name, pronouns, and the usual thing. Just a thing you want to shout out the thing. Any old thing will do. David, let's start with yourself.
Certainly. Yeah, hi, my name's David. I'm based in the UK. Use he, him pronouns. And a thing to shout out. Oh, actually, I don't think I have shouted this out on one of your games yet. It's another Gauntlet podcast, but the Furious Bellows. It's really good. It's a podcast looking at indie game design, essentially, sort of deep dives on a specific game each episode, sort of particularly looking at the stuff that came out of the Forge and that sort of era. So yeah, definitely recommend giving that a check out.
Yeah, examples kind of like the games they looked at are stuff like Inspectors or Siren. So those are stuff. So check that out. Everything that's plugged, links down below as always. Up next, Michael, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a he, him. And I'm the person who's leaving the game after this session. I just got a job, which means I can't game in the middle of the afternoon Eastern Standard Time anymore. But there's a downside to everything. The upside is I get money again, which is nice. So are we introducing characters or just players?
Just players for now.
Oh, that's me.
And you know, it's not a bad reason to have to drop out earning money again. So no one should hold out against you. No one should, including you viewers, whoever you are. If I do have viewers. Last but not least, Robert, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm also based in the UK. I use he, him pronouns, and cool thing to shout out. I just discovered this website called Backloggery. So if you're like me and you play a lot of video games, but you never seem to finish any of them, this is just a way of keeping track of the video games you've got and keeping count of the ones you've actually finished or not. It's got some sort of like scoring mechanic, which I think it's the out of 300, based on the number of games you've completed or versus the number of games you own. So just found out about that. It's looking pretty useful so far.
I might need to use that. I mean, I have a backlog. We all have a backlog. Yeah, and I'm Leandro. I'm host and GM for today. I use he, him. I guess I should shout out something or else I'll be a big hypocrite. A friend of mine put out a book this week. It's called, oh God, that's perverse here in the camera. I should not bother. It's called The Last Ones Left Alive by Sarah Davis Goff. It's basically The Raid meets zombies is what she pitches it at. It's about a journey across Ireland as this girl is trying to save like her mother's wife from zombification. as they travel to a post-apocalyptic Ireland, which I will say right now, there's like only 2 books that deal with post-apocalyptic Ireland. So that could be interesting to you. That just came out. I should start reading it because it is a book written by a person I can call my friend. Definitely. All right. So one last thing to do before we get into the game, we need to talk about safety tools as always, because every game we try to play in Gauntlet should be done in a safe and comfortable environment. So we have some safety tools for that. First and foremost is the X card. So basically how that works is if we ever run into a scene that someone finds uncomfortable, or there's some stuff there that they don't want to see, they can just say they want to X that, or they want to make the symbol. I'll check on the cameras, or do it on the rope for a party room. There's a button there, and if that happens, I'm gonna ask some clarifying questions, and then I'll say thanks, and then we roll it back. No one gets to question why the X card is played. Only that if it's played, and we will respect that. We have lines and veils. Basically, lines are things that won't show up in the fiction. Veils are things that can happen on fiction, but we're not going to show them on screen. So to say, just a reminder, folks, we have a tab there for lines and veils and our character keeper. And if people think of more, please add them there. And last but not least, we have an open door policy. Also, open table policy, that's a different thing altogether. Open door is basically if any of you, I'm speaking to everyone here on this call, if y'all need to take a break at any moment, it doesn't matter if you're getting sucker punched by a robot in fiction. If you need to take a break, if someone needs to take a break, or needs to go for an emergency for any reason, that's completely open, and we're going to accommodate if you need to do so, if you need to eject out of the game. So that's all on the table. So we're playing Masks. Not just Masks, we're playing the Agents of A.E.G.I.S playset, and basically means that our group here is a training team working for the world's largest law enforcement agency, A.E.G.I.S. But let's meet those characters first. We'll wrap up background to you, David. Tell us about a beacon, formerly of Shoreline, but now simply known as Spectre.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm playing Kai Ventura. Known as the Spectre or Spectre, in the Beacon playbook, which is essentially the playbook for being the person on the team who doesn't actually have superpowers. So yeah, Kai is a skilled gymnast and athlete, and knows the city well. He started out his superhero career as a vigilante fighting against the Spider, a sort of powerful mob boss muscling in on Shoreline, one of the districts of the city. He ran with a vigilante group for a little while in the Spiderweb iteration of Leandro's Masks games, but in the intervening time, he was picked up by the feds, and he has been drafted into A.E.G.I.S as an operative, working with a new superhero team. As I say, his powers, such as they are based around being acrobatic and good at stealth and blending in.
Well, hopefully there'll be of use for today's session. I will say, as an aside, if anyone wants to run games on the Gauntlet, I recommend doing these like quarterly things where you can like just build a world and you just reference stuff that happens to other people, other characters, and no one will get it except a few people. But that's how comic books work. So, all right. So up next, are Doomed. Michael, tell us about Everlass, who we may or may not see again in the future. Hopefully, maybe, who knows?
That's right. Everlass is what's her name again? I'm looking at the stats. Yes, Elena Imam, and she was raised in a cult that was dedicated to a cult of ancient Egyptian mysticism, and her parents basically raised her to be the vessel for the reincarnation of what they believe to be the spirit of an ancient Egyptian champion. And recently the cult whose name is the River Cleansing. The River Cleansing enacted a ritual, which basically to bring the spirit of this champion, which I still haven't named and probably never will at this point. But Elena now houses that spirit within her. She's still in control of her psyche for now. That might be part of the component, one of the components of her doom, amongst other things, which I'll bring up in just a minute. She's got superpowers. She's got super strength, and she ended up being kind of like the champion for this cult. They got into fight with A.E.G.I.S before the first session, and in the process of that fight, and that was when she encountered a lot of like her now current teammates, kind of as on the opposite side, as often happens in superhero stories. She almost died in that fight, and while she was in her kind of state of in between life and death, she basically found out the full truth behind her origin. It turns out her spirit kind of reawakened on the shore of the kind of like the mystical land of the dead in Egyptian mythology. And she was found by an entity named Kebichet, or Kebichet, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but this is basically the daughter of Anubis, and Anubis, as we all may recall, is the Egyptian god of the dead. That's where she also found out, or Everlass found out, that in fact, what everyone thought was an ancient Egyptian champion was actually a murderous despot. Big shocks all around. And now she's basically in this position where she's burdened with cohabitating with this evil spirit within her, which kind of dooms her own spirit to damnation in the Egyptian afterlife. So now she's fighting to earn enough karmic redemption to avoid that fate for herself and for the evil hitchhiker in her soul. And as you can imagine, that's kind of a heavy burden to bear, and that leaves her as kind of intense and driven and determined not to get devoured by an ancient hippo monster, which is what she's fated for currently. And right now, just as a reminder, she has as far as her influence is concerned, she has influence on Loki, and Loki has influence on her. She respects Loki as the leader of the team. And Spectre, definitely, I have influence on Spectre. I suspect he has something of a crush on me. Unfortunately, I'm feeling a little separated from the team because of a conflict regarding how we go about approaching our mission. Some people think that we should kind of like try to remember that our targets are not just enemies to be dealt with mercilessly, but are people and could be potentially reasoned with as such. Since we're about to go up against the remains of the cult that I was raised in, Everlass is much less optimistic about those prospects. And I'm hoping as a player that we'll be able to work out a situation where the Spectre and Everlass get to kiss, as that is one of the Spectre's drives, to kiss someone dangerous, and my character certainly qualifies for that. She's not feeling very mundane, and she's feeling a little freakish according to her labels, so maybe some stat adjustments on the Spectre's behalf might be apropos to try to arrange that, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, if there is a medium more suited to having dramatic makeouts in the middle of a firefight or a fight or anything than superhero comic books, then I need to find that medium and I need to subscribe to whatever they're selling. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunity for smooching to happen. There's not been much. Just realized there's not been much smooching in these Mask games I run. I need to rectify that. Hopefully today's the day. Last but not the least, Robert, tell us about our brain, the veteran of this group. Surprising enough. Well, not surprising because he's great. But tell us about Loki.
Okay, so Kevin Ryback goes by the handle of Loki, L0K1. he's a genius roboticist and programmer who was drafted into A.E.G.I.S after accidentally creating an artificial intelligence which tried to take over the world for humanity's own good. He's had a few run-ins with what remains of that AI since then. The most recent encounter was during the Tangi invasion, when the AI called A.E.G.I.S turned up on the side of the Tangi, and they had to try and negotiate with her to get her to give them a break. And came out of the Tangi invasion kind of a hero. Like, had a part to play in bringing down the machine that was going to rip apart one of his teammates. And also popped up during the Prospect Academy arc, where he was a substitute teacher there to do a special lecture, but actually there to try and help track down a rogue teacher who also turned out to be an killbot from the future, I think it was. Yeah. So that was the last thing we saw him doing before this, and now he's on this Sirius Team, taking the lead of the Sirius Team after spending some time working on a shield for based in Tangi technology for the city's defenses. But we'll see how good a leader he is soon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we'll see, because last time we saw y'all, you were given a mission, and I'll reiterate what that mission is for your benefits, because there's a couple of components to this. The most important one is obviously the goal of the mission. Your team has been tasked with retrieving and intercepting the remnants of the river cleansing as they try to move an artifact out of Prospect City. There were questions about what this artifact is. Most of those questions were answered inconclusively, only that it's important enough that whatever remains of the river cleansing are coming out for one last roll of the dice to try and get it out of Prospect City. Your team has been given a possible insertion point where you can intercept them. It is at the outskirts of Prospect City in Exodus petrol station. Which is on the map there. Hopefully I've labeled. Yeah, I've labeled it there. Petrol station. So that's what the mission dossier recommended is like their best possible chance to intercept them before they can escape. And also there are parameters to this mission, things that should not be crossed. Just a bit of rules. As they mentioned, you work for an organization now that's answerable. That's theoretically answerable to a lot of people, hence why you have these parameters. So remind you what the parameters is. I'll put them back in the chat again once I've said them. So do not allow anything outside of mission boundaries to suffer harm. You are in a fairly residential area, so that's always a good thing to note, being superheroes. Don't allow the loss of the package. Seems fairly straightforward. Don't let the targets warn any allies. This is just A.E.G.I.S being cautious, I guess. If the river cleansing has any more allies, it'll be news to them, but don't give them the chance to warn of anything. And last but not least, don't speak to the opposition. So that was very clearly pointed at Everlass, but surprisingly enough, she wasn't the team member who seemed most likely to to cross that parameter. So, and I think there's a reason why Glorious Gekko's on here, but I'll talk to Asher about that. I have an idea, but I'll run it by them first. Probably involves their mentor of some sort. But okay, so do you all? Let's see. When you were given this mission, it was of the day off. You had a couple hours before like mission start time to do anything. Do you think any of you want to like have a chat with any folks before starting this mission? Just like just some quick scenes, I'd say, before like I start asking y'all where y'all positioned at this station and whatnot. If not, we can just start at the petrol station.
So I mean, not like a whole scene or anything, but I will volunteer to scout out the petrol station ahead of time, or well, I say ahead of time, you know.
Yeah. I get it. You are just straight up creeping.
Yeah. And if our glorious leader is happy with that, then I'll sort of, like I said, I'm not thinking like, you know, not like, so not ahead of time per se, but I said I'll volunteer to sort of just scout out like just before we move in, sort of thing.
Yeah, glorious leader has some connotations. So what do you say to that, Loki?
I think Loki's fine with that. He's got a tech device that he mentioned he was going to work on, but I've got a move that lets me just come up with that in the fly. So he would want to maybe pull aside Everlass before the mission.
Ooh. Okay, go ahead. So where's this conversation happening?
She will be notably tense and anxious right now if that for whatever that's worth as you approach.
Yeah. So Kevin just comes up to you and says, "You sure about this? You're up for this?"
Oh, I'm up for this. I'm not gonna let those monsters ruin anyone else's lives like they ruined mine. Actually, she'd probably use the word violate anyone else like they violated me, because unwanted spirit and all. How come, Captain?
I'm just curious because
I hope you're not thinking of sidelight. You're not planning on sidelighting me or anything, are you?
No, not at all. I just want to know why the change of heart.
My heart's always where it's been. How do you mean?
I mean, when we first met, you were all for them. I just want to understand.
Well, yeah. So, I've talked. Well, full disclosure, I've talked about this with the. I've gone over this through my dozen debriefings I've had to go through before I was allowed to join the rest of the team. What are we again? Sirius? Team Sirius? Yeah, before I was allowed to join Team Sirius. So, as you know, and here we go into the classic comic book origin retell and exposition thing. So yeah, the river cleansing. I was always raised that they were an enlightened organization trying to extend the lives of mortal champions throughout history, to bring them back and give them a second chance to continue doing the good that they did in their lives through. It sounds crazy, but basically through spiritual cohabitation. And I was raised to be one of their vessels, and I was raised to know this as a righteous and holy duty. And and then we got in that. Of course, we got in that. When we got in the big fight, and after your bots knocked the crap out of me, I blacked out, and I had something of an afterlife experience, or out of body experience. And that's why I learned the truth about what the river cleansing has been doing. They haven't been putting champions into us. They've been putting the spirits of most terrible, bloody, terrible people. And everything they've told me was just total bull crap. And I don't even know what they're trying to do with this, but it was nothing good. And I don't even know if my own parents are in it or not. If you're wondering about my loyalties, don't worry. I am not. I want nothing to do with them anymore except to bash their heads in. They're not going to do to me what they did to anyone else.
Okay. I don't know about spirits or anything like that, but
well, call them quantum psionic signatures if that makes you feel better.
I go with interdimensional being, but sure.
Tomato.
All right, I'm satisfied. Maybe you should consider, though, you might not have been the only one that was lied to.
Yeah, maybe at that. Everlass makes a note to have another heart-to-heart with mom and dad at some point, probably after the mission.
I was actually going to ask.
Unless there's time.
No. I was going to ask Loki. There'll probably be time. We'll make time for that. That's what you want. But I was going to ask Loki. Was that a comfort support, or were you telling her place in the world?
I think I was comforting and supporting.
Okay. All right. So you have an extra +1 because you have influence over Elena. But yeah, roll plus mundane. Well, thankfully there's a +1 because you have influence, because your mundane's not good. Wow. Mark potential. Okay. So, all right. So, hold on. Let me check something. Okay. So, what's gonna happen is, so when after Loki says that, and you respond back, Elena, suddenly your vision just gets dim, and this corridor that you're in just darkens, and behind Loki you can just hear this growling, and you can see the snout of this creature just poking out, just reminding you, and it's almost growling at Loki as if, this piece of meat will only it's like the only impediment he'll provide between you and me is that of an ant. So don't rely on him for protection. That's kind of like the vibe, this growling. So I'll mark a condition while you're there.
Sure.
How are you
let's mark what. Oh, I think afraid sounds the way to go.
Yeah, like your parents might have not been into it, but this is what you're saddled with.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Spectre, you want to just straight up creeping? Which, for those watching, that's the name of the move. I'm not just saying you want to creep on things.
Sure thing. So yeah, I think he's going to turn up. Like his costume is like your sort of standard, like tactical lycra sort of thing. Probably in not like completely black, but sort of like a dark grey, bluey grey color sort of thing. But I think over that he's just got on and usually he'll have like a one of those sort of white hockey mask style masks over the top of it. Though currently he's not wearing that, and he's just got on like a sort of big, puffer coat type thing with the hood up. Is looking generally inconspicuous. He's just going to sort of wander along to the petrol station and try and scope it out. And
right,
now I'll roll.
Yeah, roll first, and then I'll describe the petrol station and its endurance.
That's a 5.
Oh.
But, unfortunately, my mundane got tanked last week, so.
Oh dear! All we did was talk to each other last week. What happened? Okay, so I'll mark potential, and well, I'll give you a description of the place anyway, because your eyes can't lie, or could they? Who knows? So you look at the map. Yeah, this kind of like crossroads. Yeah, it's dominated by this petrol station, and what's a good terrible name for a petrol station? It's I think it's a chain, because I'm kind of playing with like Prospect City is not the greatest city of all time. It's fairly low rent, so I think it's a chain that kind of like, all right, what if fracking is the newest thing, but we need like a brand name, a petrol station brand. Ooh, all about that gas. All right, that's much better than my idea. Yeah, there we go. So this is all about that gas petrol station. There's a lot of people there. There's like a ratty, just things to buy groceries or whatnot. There's maybe like 1 or 2 cars, and some fairly beat up sedans. These 2 buildings here are stores. The ones nearest to here, and I'll give them names. One of them is a car dealership called WeBuyCars.com, and the .com is on the sign there. And hold on, let me put it here. WeBuyCars.com. So that's a car dealership, and over here, the other store is a general store, but it has on its signage is a big like. Generals don't have hats, I just realized. So they just have like an admiral hat, but they call it the General's General Store, even though it's clearly an admiral hat over the signage. Sorry, this is a bit self-indulgent, but sorry. But yeah, the General Store. There we go. And yeah, so you notice that when you kind of come in to scope the scene, but I think what you primarily notice is that the bottom right, I can't ping, I'm not in row 20. The bottom right here, all these squares, all these rectangles, that's actually a blockade. And beyond it, you can see some like a construction site going on, because as mentioned, the Tangi invasion leveled quite a few buildings, and there's a police blockade kind of like just protecting the place. Well, it looks like a police blockade, but you notice Spectre, but I think they notice you before you do. So when you show up there, what they have there is there's these cars. They aren't police cars. They're like these black sedans, and one of them, there's a person comes out, and they're wearing these like fancy suits, and they've got the earpiece, and they got these wicked looking sunglasses. I think this man has he has some very unkempt brown hair. He sees you, and he just walks up to you, and you're near the petrol station, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think he doesn't walk up to you. I think he walks up near the general store, and just kind of like he's doing that thing where his kind of hands are over each other, and they're kind of like just scanning the area. But then he sees you, even though you're quite dressed up to be in a disguise. You can see from where you're standing that he raises an eyebrow and just like starts speaking to his earpiece. And So this is just a soft failure for now, but yeah, you have been noticed by these folks in these black sedans, who may or may not be familiar to your character. Who knows? For viewers, check out Masks Caught in the Spiderweb. Don't know there, but yeah, these are some old friends of yours, Spectre. Actually, I should just explain them. For those who weren't there and caught in the spiderweb, the last half of that series was caught up by this security firm called Coyote, who kind of took over the police for the Spectre's neighborhood, and they kind of moved underground during the Tangi invasion. But well, they're here now, Spectre, and they've noticed you. You can get back to your team, sure, but the consequence of that failure is these folks here know that you're here now, which means trouble might be happening. I know they just happen to be positioned at this place where you're meant to intercept an artifact. Gee, I wonder why. So are you just gonna stay there, or are you gonna double back and kind of warn your team, and so you can deploy each other more thoroughly? What do you do?
So I think I'm going to continue just wandering over to the to the petrol station and like look at the newspapers on the forecourt or something. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to sort of tap my communicator, say, it looks like things might get a little complicated. There's some Coyote. You heard of them? They're private security. They caused a lot of trouble. It may be coincidence, but we might have more than the cult to deal with.
Okay. Okay, I'll take it into account. Can you get back here safely, or do you think you would be? Can you get back here without them tailing you?
I should be able to give them the slip, sure.
Okay.
All right, so okay. I say it again, Loki.
Yeah. You find anything else?
No, nothing. Nothing looks out of the ordinary.
All right. That might change. That might interfere with our mission parameters a little bit. I'll see if we can get some wiggle room in that. Did I have someone I'm supposed to report these sort of things to? Or is it just like deal with it?
Yeah, I think you have been kind of left with a deal with it sort of thing. I mean, you can report to your handlers or even to like any other A.E.G.I.S agents, I mean, they let Glorious Gekko talk to their mentor a lot. You can report this back to your handlers, or you can ask advice from them, or you can ask advice or from anyone else. You must know some A.E.G.I.S agents, right?
Mm-hmm. Don't allow anything outside of mission boundaries to suffer harm. Okay, so I'll just call my handler.
Okay, so that's... Let's see. Let me double check. Which one would you be calling on? Since you are the brain. Well, you have 3 handlers, so you can talk to Superior Liaison Agent Sarah, to Training and Development Agent Sai, or the scatterbrained Agent Karelios, who is all about science.
I think I'll go for the superhero. The superhero liaison.
Cool. So yeah, you patch into Agent Sarah, who's like, oh, Agent Ryback, or is it Agent Loki? Sorry, which one would you prefer?
Just Loki's fine.
And it comes with being a superhero, right? You get used to having your name, and then you join this group, and suddenly you're now, oh, you're just Kevin again. You get used to it, kid. No worries.
Sure. Listen, I have a complication here in the petrol station mission.
Oh, what sort of complication?
We've got a third party snooping on the petrol station. What was the name of the company?
Coyote.
Coyote.
Coyote. Tap 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 tap. Looking up files. Yes, they've been flagged to us as a possible front for a criminal organization working on the Prospect City. If they're there, that means the Spider is coming out to make their play at last. They've gone underground since the Tangi invasion, but it seems they're, from what it sounds like, if they're there, that means they're there to intercept the artifact as well for their own means. Well, clearly this mission has gone several notches. So what I'm going to do, Loki, is I'm going to send you all some backup. I have some friends who, outside of A.E.G.I.S, who are probably more than happy to help bash in a few heads. Would that be amenable to you and your team?
That would be helpful, yes. I would like to avoid any third-party entanglements.
That sounds perfect then. That's the least we want to do in a job like this. Okay, so I'm gonna look up my notes from Iron Red Soldiers, because Prospect City doesn't have many superheroes. I think you are going to get. Which one are you gonna get? Which one? I think you are gonna get the Gray Fox one. Let me find my notes for them. And sorry, that's oh, that's not it. That's not it. Yes. So I think you came up with this superhero actually, Robert. The Gray Fox. They are she/her, former sidekick of Black Fox, who is kind of like Halcyon City's Batman. Weird martial arts technology, split off because of different ideas. Operating with own cache of gadgetry. Detective in Prospect City PD, known because of A.E.G.I.S files. Yeah, no, okay, that sounds perfect. I think Agent Sarah's kind of like, yeah, I'll put you in touch with. Well, I think she'd be quite angry at me if I just told you her real name. But you'll be in touch with Gray Fox. I think you're well acquainted. You know her enough if you've been looking up our files on her superheroes. She'll be on the scene at any rate, and if any complication happens, she will make sure to run interference around Coyote. All right, so it's nearly mission time for all of you. Good luck. That's all I can say. Do your best. If the mission botches, it happens, and we'll deal with what happens afterwards. But try not to die. Stay safe. Good luck.
Thank you. Sign off.
All right. So unless anyone else has one more thing, I think we are just going to cut straight to the petrol station. Cool. So where is everyone arranged? Let's say this is kind of like dusk. The sky is just this brilliant shade of dark red and orange as the sun is setting, and this thoroughfare is it's probably less busy than it is. There's a few wacky inflatable tube men in front of the We Buy cars in the car dealership. There is a bunch of there's like at least two cars taking gas. One of them is this black sedan that you probably noticed now, Spectre. Now, I don't know, maybe you're paranoid for all them black sedans now. The man who's watching you, who's kind of watching, is still there. Where does everyone else position themselves?
So would it be reasonable to say that I could get some sort of van of our own from which I can be monitoring local CCTV?
Let me check. It feels like stuff like that should be a move, but like
Yeah.
yeah, but like that's a asking stuff from A.E.G.I.S is a specific move from a specific playbook. I'm just gonna Yeah, I think I'll just allow this for now. I should look this up in the future, but for now, yeah, I think you can have a van. I think it'd be kind of silly if the brain doesn't have like the ability to have this sort of equipment. Okay, so where are you positioned, Everlass?
I was thinking maybe I could maybe be sitting kind of like right by the entrance to the store portion of the petrol station, and maybe just be just pretend, just kind of like just sit on the sidewalk and look like just some like young person just loitering. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think there's probably a point where the clerk of the store portion is like, "Are you loitering?"
I'll just I'll whenever he does that, I'll just put $1 in the tip jar.
Loiter away, I guess. And as he kind of looks back, I don't know why he sounds like that. Okay, so while you're waiting for this petrol station, for the truck to kind of arrive, and I think your CCTV camera is low-key kind of positioned around kind of the route, kind of like where they're kind of showing up. I think there's a couple more cars coming in and out. But I think another black sedan kind of shows up and kind of parks near the place where you like insert more air to the cars. It's quite near you, Spectre. And person who comes out, there's a person who comes out. This woman again in a suit. They uniform themselves quite well, Coyote. Wearing this suit, and they don't have the glasses, but they have like a very severe ponytail, and they're just casually there. And then I think you see it, Loki, in their CCTV cameras. This warehouse they're looking at. No, they just find it. This truck. When they said it was a truck, but actually it is more like a fairly decent size van dragging a trailer. So it's not even really a truck. So it's a fairly big trailer. It looks like it can house like maybe 4 cows, kind of that big. And it's driving by, and I think as kind of like you see this, you can if you've paid attention, the man in the suit near the general store is like putting their hand up to their earpiece. The woman is kind of like leaning over the car, just casually looking over the road as this truck kind of appears on in the horizon. Well, I say it's not truck, the van, what you need. And the truck is pulling up towards at least to the preview of the map, and is about to make their turn. Since you're all here, I'm giving any of you a chance to react before they do. So I think you've been forewarned.
I'm gonna set off like my bubble that
Ooh.
I had planned.
Ooh. Okay, so that's a device that you made, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're always prepared. So 2 gadgets. Spend 1 when you unleash your powers to do this bubble. Okay. All right. So let's see if this goes off first. So roll plus superior.
Where was my superior at last time? +1. Okay.
Please be good.
So that's 10.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So on a 10 plus, well, it just happens, and it's not unstable or temporary. So what is this bubble? Tell us what happens. Like,
so let's say I had several of these set up in positions that where a vehicle might pass by, and I've set it up so that a miniature version of the shield that I've been working on comes up around the vehicle, sort of trapping it. You're muted, Leandro.
Sorry, I'm just I'm putting a box in the map. That's the vehicle. So this works very well. You've trapped it, but obviously you got the jump on their energy. So what's gonna happen is where's your van situated at, Loki?
Say outside the We-Buy.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is okay. So obviously, once you kind of trap this trailer, this van in a trailer, kind of the coyote folk breaks loose. The black sedan that was getting pumped in the petrol station just suddenly drives as it's still connected, and the gas leaking hard is driving to crash into your van, Loki. The woman who's kind of like over the car just suddenly jumps forward and just takes out a gun, and all the other folk take out guns as well, as two of them leap into two other sedans and start surrounding the van. So I'm gonna add more squares to this. Should be right. They used to be police, so they are a bunch of squares. So black sedan here, and another one here. And this woman turns around with a gun and points it directly at you, Spectre. What do you do? I think Richie points a gun and she's like, Take off the coat, kid. You look ridiculous.
Look, I don't know what this is all about, but I don't want any trouble. I ain't seen nothing here.
You better stay wanting to not be in trouble, then, kid. Lie down. Lie down now.
Yeah, I think I will comply for the time being.
Okay. Everlass, you kind of see this. And the clerk kind of comes out and is like, Jesus, what's happening here? I don't know why he suddenly turned Irish.
Now, do these look like the coyote people? Are they wearing?
Yeah, no, these are the coyote people, the
Okay.
people in the black sedans and the
All
suits.
right.
They're pulling out the people in the black sedans. They've surrounded the van. They're pulling out M16s now to kind of surround the van. Meanwhile, you see Spectre is being forced to lie down on the ground by this woman holding a gun. And this black sedan has driven off and is about to crash into Loki's van.
And is that the one that the energy bubble tried to form around?
No, that's a separate van that Loki is in.
Okay.
It's about trying to crash into Loki himself.
Oh, Loki surrounded our own van with the energy bubble.
No. There are two vans.
Okay.
One is a van that Loki was in, and there is the van that you're all trying to capture. And that's been surrounded by an energy bubble.
Oh well. While Spectre's distracting all the coyotes, I'm going to, as surreptitiously as possible, run towards the bubbled van that we think is our target.
All right. So I think when you run up there, I think you're kind of positioned in a way where the coyote people just don't see you. But just to see you see who's kind of in the driver's seat, the van, and they're kind of pushing the pedal. Let's see. This is clearly a friend of yours, so I'm gonna let you describe them. So who's your best friend in the cult?
Oh boy.
Who's like?
Yeah, it's gonna be someone who was another leading candidate to be a host for Spirit, and what's that person's name? That person's name is going to be. Here's my. Let's see what's a good name for this person. let's call him. Let's call him Daryl. Let's call him Daryl Francis.
All right. So, what does Daryl look like?
He's going to be. He's about the same age as he's bound to be the same age as I am, because I'm assuming that whatever age I'm at is like the typical age for when we're most suitable for hosting a spirit. So we'll say late teens, early 20s, tall, lanky, kind of a military style buzz cut.
Yeah, I think you see him first before he sees you, as he's kind of like preparing to like ram this fan through this energy bubble, but then he sees you kind of in front, and then his eyes widen, and he's kind of looking frantically. He's like, I think you can definitely hear it. I don't think this bubble stops sound, but he shouts, "Elena, what are you?" And then you suddenly hear gunfire being directed towards your direction, as kind of like the coyote man in front of the general store has pulled out a submachine gun and is firing in your direction.
Okay.
What do you do?
Is there any way to do some kind of like some Matrix style twisting while I let my momentum carry myself into the suspicious van? I'm thinking at this point, my operating split-second assumption is that Daryl Francis is still kind of under their control. So she's going to see if she can rescue him, and we'll see how right she is in a second, I suppose. So is that something that's
Describe me what you want to do. What are you trying to do? As in, what's Everlass doing?
I guess try to outrace the bullets so that I'm no longer where the coyote agent was firing at, and still propel myself towards the van.
Okay, so all right. So actually, before we do that, we should go through the team thing. Actually, no, you're up against a gang of mooks. You're not yet against a dangerous foe. So we'll not do that yet. Yeah, you can totally do that. Just not entirely sure what the move is. Would you say you're defending someone? But no, you're not. You're under threat. They're not. They're under the shield.
Yeah, the only thing I think of is maybe unleash my powers to overcome an obstacle. Like, if you consider the bullets an obstacle, I could just try to since I'm basically trying to quote unquote outrace the bullets.
Yeah,
would that sound like a good way to do it?
You're using your powerful legs to try and outrace the bullets. All right. Yeah.
And my freak label. And I would my afraid condition, would that affect this?
Oh, let me check. I've not been good at taking advantage of that. No, that's a minus 2 to directly engage. You're only engaging.
All right. Cool. And the roll is here. Continuing our streak of bad dice rolls, I've generated a 5 total.
Okay, so mark potential. Okay, so 2 things happen. One, unfortunately, your abilities are superhuman strength, not superhuman speed.
I know. I regret getting rid of the speed now.
Yeah, well, there you go. We had that talk when you thought it was too overpowered, but no, there you go. So, unfortunately, you don't outrun those bullets. They are gonna smash against you. You're gonna take a powerful blow. So you roll a roll plus conditions marked.
So roll plus1.
Yeah. You want low with this one.
Oh, and fortunately, I did roll low. I generated another total of 5.
Fab. So okay, so somehow you stand firm against bullets. Well, let that slide. Mark potential again. So how do you weather this blow?
Just from the power of the, I guess just from the power of that. I guess the enhancing that my body went through in the occult ritual in order to house the evil spirit. Part of the ritual was just toughening up my skin. So yeah, I think it might just be a matter of just that kind of occult conditioning.
All right. So yeah. So what happens is you weather the blow, but I think getting hit obviously it still delays you enough that you kind of get jostled before you can get to the van, to the point where these two coyote men, armored submachine guns, just surround you and kind of point their guns to your head and be like, "You better not do anything, little miss, or you'll join your river cleansing friends down at the bottom of the ocean."
They're not my friends, she shouts out.
And you see Daryl's hurt look, and you shout that out.
Oh.
Now let's cut to Loki for the moment. Loki, you deployed your trap. Your trap has gone well, and but this car is going to smash against you. What do you do?
Yeah. Can I drive the van out of the way, or?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Would you say you're trying to defend the van?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can roll defend with that then, because it says when you defend someone or something.
I don't want them to bill me for a new van.
All right, so roll plus savior.
Plus savior plus 2. So yeah.
Ooh, nice. Fab. So, on a hit, you keep him safe and choose one. Add a team to the pool. Take influence over someone you protect. The van, I don't know, or clear a condition.
I don't have any conditions marked. Don't think so. I will add one to the team.
All right. So you drive this van just in the nick of time as this sedan kind of crashes into the other cars in the dealership in this and WeBuyCars.com. You'll be fine. They caused the trouble, not you. So if they can build a criminal organization, they probably do that. Then again, they're a dealership called WeBuyCars.com. So
tap some commands into my bracelet computer sort of thing. These guys all seem to have their own radio system, right? That they're.
Ooh, that sounds like it. Yeah. Oh, one more thing I forgot to do. Everlass, there's a bit of overexertion in trying to outrun some bullets. So mark me a doom track while you're there. A doom sign. We'll just do that. And then I think while you do that, you probably hear the growling in your head as you said, "They're not my friends." And Daryl looks at you with a hurt look, and you're surrounded by guns. But yeah, they have a radio system, Loki.
So I'd like to hack that and play some distraction sounds over it. Jam their comms.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll plus freak.
Go. Plus freak, plus 0.
Good luck. Oh, mark potential there. So, I'm actually glad this happened because two more things happen. Everything's gonna happen in twos now. So you try to hack into the radio system, and you hear kind of like of some very clipped, like send more units ahead. We have superhero interference, and you hear like Gray Fox has appeared at our radar. We will intercept momentarily, and then suddenly you hear this static whine kind of cut through, and then you hear this woman's voice talking to you, and it's like, "Oh dear, is that another teenage nobody playing hero? Well, you're not a nobody, are you?" This is an heiress, by the way. I don't know why you're making that voice, that face, but unlike all the other teenage heroes we've had to deal with in the spider web, we know everything about you, Kevin Ryback. Well, we've been content to let you run around with Aegis, but if you're going to interfere with the spider's activities, yeah, it's not cutting off no matter what you do. And from the spider's activities, consider yourself a target. Doesn't matter what sort of fancy armor you wear, how many friends you have, we always get our targets. And then she hangs up. Marker condition. How are you feeling?
Rude. Angry. Nobody hacks me back.
I don't know. The spider has a lot of resources. Spectre, are you still playing with this whole passerby shtick?
I think I've kind of got down, sort of, I've got down onto my knees. I've sort of put my hands on the pavement, but then I'm going to launch myself up at the woman. I'm just trying to kind of push past her, basically, and basically cause a distraction and try and distract the coyote agents that have got guns trained on Everlass.
All right. So you're not directly engaging then. You're trying to cause a distraction. Would you say you're trying to defend Everlass? Then?
Yeah, that's probably the closest to
Yeah. Go ahead then. Roll plus Savior. Your Savior's pretty good.
That's a 9.
Fab. Does anyone want to spend a team to help out? Low key, you're still kind of you're kind of free to help if you want to help cause a distraction, so you can bump it up to a 10.
Oh, I
Or
guess I probably.
Or
Well,
anyone.
It might not make sense for me to help if the goal is to distract the agents from me if I make a distraction of my own. So maybe I'll just hold off. That is what you're asking me.
Well, yeah, go on. What are you doing to help distract?
I can't negate the failure earlier, so.
Well, no. The consequence of the failure is that you are now a target of the spider.
Okay, so let's say after they cut off, I just regain the signal and just pump the my noise through. I don't know if we had a established band that exists in this setting.
Wait, bands? Oh, bands. Oh. Yeah, any band. I don't mind. Like, if you can invent one if you want, or if you want to pull from a thing. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I mentioned the Macarena in a previous session, so at least they exist.
Something along the lines of "Bad Boys, Bad Boys."
Yeah. So, last time you're trying to be subtle. This time you're like, no, I'm just gonna brute force it. All right, that's good. So that is now a 10. You're back down to 1 team. All right, on a 10 plus, on a hit, you keep them safe and choose 1. So, which one would be Spectre? Add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition. Take influence.
Yeah, I think I will take influence. So I think what I'm going to do is, like I said, I just sort of bull past the woman. I sort of knock her to the ground, and I think there's a stack of tires. And I'm just going to grab like the one off the top of the stack and like frisbee it into one of the guys with guns over Everlass, and I will shout out, "Everlass, move!"
Cool. So are you taking influence over her?
I will take influence. Yeah.
Yeah. So Everlass. Spectre has given you this opportunity. The tire is hit the guy pointing the gun at your head. It's like, that sort of thing. And what do you do?
Hit the of one of the people on me.
Yeah, I think both of them. I think it ricocheted off one and hit the other.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, so you got a moment.
Okay. Well, in that case, if I can, is the bubble still around the? Is the energy bubble still around the vehicle?
Yeah, and you see Daryl, and he's looking at you like maybe when he saw you, he was like, "Oh my God, yes, Everlass here to save us." But you said that thing, you're not friends. He's looking at you like,
oh, I see.
Mixture of hurt, confusion.
Mm-hmm. I'll just try to get as close as I can to him and just say, "Where's the artifact?" Daryl, you gotta tell me where the artifact is.
What do you want to know? What are you gonna do with it?
Look, this is our chance to get away. Trust me, you don't want this.
Trust you? Where have you been? Why are you not with us, with your family? Where have you been?
My family's in. Oh, okay. I don't know how much time we have to talk in this frame of time, but
as much as dramatically possible.
Okay, my family's in jail. She says.
Your family is us, not just your parents, but me and everyone else.
Look, the river's been lying to us all. We're not vessels for sacred champions. They were lying. They're putting monsters inside of us. And then look at me. Look, I've been shot by bullets and nothing's come through. This isn't. I've seen them. I say.
Helena, you were always the kindest of us all. I knew they were lying to us. Everyone knew that. But everyone was fine with it. Because the alternative was being nothing.
Uh-oh.
Look at you. You just survived bullets.
Daryl, I literally have a monster growling inside my head. You don't want. I don't wish this on anyone, especially not you. Please, just tell whatever happens to the artifact. Don't let them use it on you. Don't, and just give it up. Just give it to me. Don't let them use it on you. Please.
This sounds like a role you'll have to. I think this is provoke. You want to provoke someone.
I want to go for an adult move. I'd like to persuade with best interests. Because this is serious stuff here. This is my best friend.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and mark the doom because I know that's what it requires. Because I'm employing my what is it? My bolstered ability that comes with my handy dandy doom track.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go ahead and load up some more doom. I'm now 3. I've got 2 more doom actions before I get into my first my next doom sign. But for now, yeah, because I'm serious about trying to convince Daryl that whatever he wants to become is not worth the price. So I have to roll superior, trying to persuade his best interests, whether or not he realizes it. And the total. Oh, I'm not so superior. Let's see what happens. Oh, oh boy! All right, I've generated yet another 5. I am rolling nothing but 5.
Oh dear!
Tragic.
Okay, so mark potential, and let's see. What are the 2 things that are going to happen? Let's see. So there's a moment where you reach him. I think he looks hesitant. I think he's gonna reach up to you. Before you could do, you feel this hellacious knock on the back of your head, as one of the 2 coyote folk have kind of gotten their senses back. It's not a powerful blow because it's just like a knock on the head, and he is just like, "What did we say, girlie? Didn't we warn you? He'll join you and your boyfriend over there in the bottom of the sea." And I think as you're being knocked down, you kind of see Daryl's features kind of harden, as if just to say, you don't know what you're talking about. So I'll take another condition there.
Okay.
That is, yeah. So you've been knocked down to the ground now. You know what? This sounds like a time to take a break. We've been here for a while, and I need to turn off my heater. This room is roasting. So let's take 10. Let's say 10. Let's come back at 5 to the top of the hour. That's okay with folks? Cool. BRB. All right, welcome back. So when we last left off, Loki has been confronted by the head of a malicious criminal organization that has launched this attempt to retrieve this artifact. Spectre has brilliantly deployed his amazing skills at being, I guess, a nuisance. That's good. In superhero wise, to distract these coyote folk, to give Everlass a chance to reach out to her friend who's still part of his cult, and then was hit by some some hard truths and betrayals, I guess. One or two probably happened there, and then she got knocked back down. So let's swing back to Loki. So you managed to help out with this distraction, but it seems Everlass has just been knocked down by this coyote person. You're still driving your van, I guess. Probably in your rear view, you see, or in your TV, you see like the black sedan that you avoided crashing those cars, and the dealership guy comes out and he's like, "My cars! What have you done to my cars?" Yeah, and the clerk from the grocery store / petrol station is just watching all this, kind of like, "God damn, God damn!" And I'm sure there's a third equivalent at the general store, another yokel. Maybe he's wearing an admiral's hat. Who knows? What are you doing? You're still on this van.
So, what's everybody's positions? Like the bad guys.
Let's see. So there's one coyote security person over Everlass. There's another one. I wish I could ping. Just in front of like the van, around near the intersection near the general store. There's two cars surrounding the van. They can't. They're shooting at the energy bubble now, as if they're trying to penetrate it. There's the black sedan who's crashed at WeBuyCars.com, and it seems that they're still taking time to extricate themselves from that crash while the salesman is yelling at them. And there's the woman at the petrol station who was jostled by Spectre at this moment.
So I think I'm gonna ram the two vans with the where the guys are that are trying to get into the energy shield.
Yeah, that sounds like you're directly engaging them.
Yep.
All right. Roll plus danger. Actually, hold on. Let me check. You're angry right now.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I've been forgetting these conditions for a while, and actually, no, you're fine. Angry. Afraid is what takes away from directly engage. But you're fine for now.
Okay.
Directly engage. What? Oh, all right. So I was afraid. That was a sigh of, oh dear, another failure. But no. All right. So pick two. Resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I will create. I will create an opportunity for my allies. Actually, hang on. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition, and resist or avoid their blows.
All right. So let's see. Okay. So what's gonna happen is, yeah. So first off, you do it. You crash against these other two sedans, and with your van, which seems to be very heavily suited up to be able to do that. And so you bounce the car off into the other car, and it knocks out the two coyote that were shooting at them. And I think around this time, your comlink pipes up, and you hear this kind of like smooth voices going, "Oh, hello there, Loki. This is Grey Fox talking. I ran into some opposition on the way." You hear bullets, gunfire, screaming, and the slashes of a sword. The opposition seems fine, but looks to me like they're not going to be getting any reinforcements soon. How's things at your end?
Chaotic.
Well, them is a superhero life for you. Sling, sling, and I think if we cut to the comic book, it is. I think it is just him holding a phone to. I think I'm imagining them. They have a hood with like a fox on the hood, so you can't see their face, and they're like, yeah. So just dealing with these folks downtown. You seem to be doing fine there. Just making sure they don't send more. They were sending reinforcements down your way, but I'll make sure they don't get there. You mop up your end and get what you need done.
Good to know. Thank you.
You hear let's hope chat on better times. Explosion in the background. All right, see us. And yeah, he hangs up. Spectre. So your distraction worked, but unfortunately, Everlass did not manage to make much of a distraction. Now you have 2 people on you. You've knocked this woman, and she knocked the gun out of the woman's hand. But there's another man with a gun going up towards you, but the woman's like, "You're not one of. We know what you are, Spectre. You don't have any fancy superpowers. Well, fancy this." And she pulls out a grenade. And she's about to fling the thing. She's a bit desperate. What do? You got a chance here.
That's a good question. I think I'm just trying to think what I want to do. I'm going to run back towards her and just try and grab the grenade out of her hand, because setting off a grenade in a petrol station doesn't seem like a sensible plan.
Not very sensible indeed. She's not acting sensibly, is she? That sounds like directly engaging. And I would say that you're standing strong while dramatically under fire. This sounds like a
sure thing.
A situation where you can tell Domitian to suck it.
That's fair. In which case, yeah, I will roll with my savior.
There we go.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 3, so that's a total of 5.
This is so weird. What is happening? Mark potential. Holy crap. I know what's gonna happen. Let's escalate this just a bit. So she pulls up the grenade, but before you could get to her, here we go. Before you can get to suddenly you hear this. All right, hold on. I'll get to you, Robert. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. You can tell. I see something in chat. It's like, oh, I have to address this. But no, before you can get to her, you hear this shot ring out behind you, and you see this bolt of light scream past your shoulder as it kind of embeds itself in her throat and just kills her right there. If you turn around, you see the clerk behind you. You see that their face has peeled apart mechanically to show this wicked barrel that's kind of smoking. And then its head turns towards you. And you kind of see as well, you know that angry salesperson there? Do you know why the black sedan that smashed in there, why it managed to got out? Well, because its driver is dead. There's a hole smoking out of their chest, and this salesman also has a gun coming out of their clearly metal face. And also that Admiral guy that I just vaguely mentioned, yeah, he also has one of those now. And the 3 of them, one at the petrol station, the other at the WeBuyCars.com, the other at the general store, they've started surrounding kind of this area now.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
This artifact, this voice coming out of the clerk. This artifact is now under the ownership of the restitution of all things. Please be advised. Any attempt to get in our way will result in your complete annihilation. So yeah, there's another faction here.
Nice.
Everlass, let's cut to you. You don't notice all these things because you've been knocked down, and this coyote person has a gun. But I think once the lasers start shooting out, he's like, "What the?" And he kind of ducks in. So you've got a chance at this point as he kind of ducks and starts kind of opening fire at them. He's calling out to his buddies, but his buddies have been cleared away by the van. And to very quickly answer Robert's question, you didn't break anything. Well, I don't know. Is the van important? It's not broken, so no, you didn't. I don't think you cleared angry yet. But So yeah, Everlass. You got a moment as the coyote guy is distracted by these folks with freaking laser beams on their head.
Right. So I'm afraid and angry right now, which is a wonderful combination.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to get in. I'm just going to try to get into the break my way through the bubble so I can get the car, get into the van.
Nice. So using superhuman strength to rip the bubble through.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
sure.
That sounds really cool. So roll plus freak for that.
All right.
Oh man, if you were the bull, you'd have a move exactly for this. But
okay, well now I generated a total of 7.
+1.
So
is that with a +1, right?
That's
all right. So so you can either mark a condition to keep the effect, or I can say how the effect is unstable or temporary.
Oh boy, I don't know if I want to keep pushing. Yeah, I'm going to. I'll take the I'll take the unstable effect because I don't want to push another condition on my character.
Yeah, so I think what's gonna happen is when you push through this bubble, and the thing is, this is retrofitted Tangy Tech plus Loki's ingenuity, so it's a terrible strain upon you to just to get through. You get through fine, but once you're in, you know that I don't think you have the energy unless you really want to try again. But it's gonna be tough. But you're not gonna be able to get out of this bubble unless you call on Loki or you manage to get help in there. But you get through anyway.
Okay. Cool.
And Daryl comes out of the van and he's got a gun out, but he's not pointing it at you. And he's like, "What's it gonna be, Elena?"
Listen, for your own good, I'm not gonna let this happen. It's not too late for you. I'm not gonna let you get poisoned like I did.
Don't I get a choice in this?
Not in this. Trust me. You'll thank me later. I'm too angry. I don't think I have a good. I think I'm too pissed off right and too scared to like be rational and try to appeal to his like better senses at this point.
Okay, so what do?
I'm gonna try to take the gun away from him.
Okay, sounds like you're directly engaging him.
Yeah. So that's which one is that again?
Danger.
Is that superior? Danger. Okay.
Danger. Let's see. You're afraid and angry.
Yes.
What'd you roll first?
Well, I rolled a 7. +1 for danger is 8.
You're afraid? That's a -2, my friend.
Oh, yikes! Well, that takes me back to failure town.
Someone can spend a team. Actually, you know what? The arrival of these laser folk. This is the time to finally done the battle. You together as a team. Because like honestly, I'd spec out these coyote folk as all right, but these folks with the laser beams on their heads, they're kind of the real deal. So let's go through the team mechanics first.
Okay.
When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. So hooray! So that's 3. So you're now on the tree. If the leader has influence over every teammate, add another team. He does. I assume that's Loki. Because he is explicitly your leader. So you're now up to 4. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. Does everyone have the same purpose?
Well, you know,
package.
We all want to. Yeah, we all want to. I mean, here's the thing. I definitely want to get the package, but if I had to choose between that and saving my friend,
Ooh.
For at least for now, it seems like the two are kind of connected. But if I ever had to choose, like, can't say I'd go for the artifact, honestly. I don't know. So I'll leave that up to you whether that means we're at cross purposes.
I think I think it's clear in your head that you need to get package away from your friend.
Right, because that's presumably that's the artifact that holds like whatever monstrous thing they're going to plant inside of him, which is definitely what I wanted to stop. So yeah, I guess we are on track still.
Don't tell me you have some ulterior motive, Spectre, to be here.
No.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Just that smooch.
Yeah, it's not really ulterior motive, really. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove a team. Does anyone mistrust Loki?
Nope, not me.
No.
I don't think so. Oh, Loki's fairly dependable. He saved the city once, you know?
He's got more credit than any of us.
Yeah.
Except
maybe if your team is ill, maybe Gekko. If your team is ill prepared or off balance, remove a team. I think you weren't. I think you were prepared for. You're prepared for this ish.
Yeah, we earned our unbalancing ourselves the honest way.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't come in here, prepared off balance. You came here with a plan. So okay, so you have 5 team. So Everlass rolled a 6. Is there a scope for anyone to help out? No? Doesn't seem like it. Loki, you seem to be busy ramming some cars. Spectre, you're facing off against what was a clerk who was originally from Boston, then became from Ireland. I don't know what happened to that. Turns out he's a robot. That explains it. Loki, what did you say?
The cars were the ones that were near the van, right? The truck that's got the artifact in it.
Yeah, these 2 squares here, which I will. Yeah, they've been taken out. So I think once you take out, you can see Everlass confronting someone who's holding a gun inside the energy bubble you created.
Okay, so who else is left outside the bubble?
I don't think anyone else. I think the woman with the grenade has been killed. There are only 2 coyote folks left, and they're shooting at the laser-headed folk.
All right, so I'm gonna activate my armor as I'm getting out of the truck, out of my van, and disengage the shield to head in and help Everlass.
All right, so he's spending a team, and that brings up to 7. All right, so on a 7 to 9 for directly engage a threat, you pick one. Resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. What do you want to do to Darrow?
I'll take that gun.
All right. So I think he, just as you reach for him, I think he was gonna raise up. You see, he was gonna do it. He was gonna raise up the gun, but Loki managed to like tackle him in time, so you could tackle him back, and the gun kind of flies from his head, out of his hand, and you kind of knock him down to the ground. And you see, like, it was almost like relief flooding through his body that you took this choice away from him.
Oh, interesting.
And you can see, like, yeah, he's kind of crying that you managed to take away this choice from him. Meanwhile, Spectre. Thankfully, these coyote guys are here to get the heat off you, because otherwise, those 3 laser buddy robots would have probably gotten you down. What do you do? The laser folk are kind of directing their shots at the coyote folk who have kind of split off, and they're trying to take cover on some of the other sedans or some other spot before they're shot off. But you're free and clear at the moment. You probably see your 2 friends knock down the driver of the van. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think that as of the robot that was by me turns back to shoot the others, I think I'm going to start running across the forecourt. I'm going to sort of leap up onto one of the petrol pumps, spring off it and attempt to sort of basically just dive into the cab of the van and start the engine.
Nice. All right. Ridiculous superhero stunts. Ah, shame we crossed off that drive.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that stunt you pulled last time was ridiculous as well. But anyway, yeah, roll plus freak. Let's hope this fucking dice roller room is nicer to you. Maybe you should just use your own dice. Maybe we should just stop relying on this. If it
using my own dice hasn't been helping me out, but maybe
yeah, but it's 50-50.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a 10 for me this time, so I'll take that.
Yeah, please. So describe to me. You described, I guess. So
yeah, and so I guess I'll dive into the cab and turn the engine back over and get ready to tear off with the artifact.
Do you say to what do you say to the other two? It's kind of
I'll just turn around and say, I'm going to get out of here. Get ready to follow or get in the van. And yeah, start revving the engine.
All right. Okay, so let's set this over. So yeah, you hear that, Loki? You're in your armor now. The thing is, you're there's two ways you can go. You can just drive forward away enough where I think I'll retroactively say there's a pickup place where if you drive forward towards where A.E.G.I.S can secure the van, you can drive. I think you can drive forward, but those 3 laser bots are positioned in a triangular formation. One is on the petrol station. One is on the WeBuyCars.com. The other is on the General Store. And I think just as you kind of see them, they've dispatched the last Coyote guy. And their beams are directed at you specifically. What do you do, Loki?
I'd like to, just run a scan on these robots to see if there's anything I can. Robotics is my thing, so I was trying to see if there's any vulnerabilities or any.
Yeah.
An exploit.
So assess the situation then.
Yep.
Robust superior.
That's an 8.
8. All right, fam. So on a 79, you can ask 1, take +1 while acting on a question, and you can ask a single follow-up. You can ask another one, a follow-up question, because this is your field of science.
How could we best end this quickly?
You can tell that you're probably used to this, but you can tell that these, just by scanning through them, that their telemetry and their targeting is focused almost overwhelmingly on you, as if you are the bigger threat, the biggest threat in this. So the way you can tell the way the programming seems to be working is that they're going to direct their fire on you. So the best way to end this is if you draw away their fire. What's your other question?
Who here is most vulnerable to me?
Who here is the most vulnerable to you? Besides poor crying Darrow over there? Yeah. You can take. I think you can tell. You can take on these robot dudes fairly easily. They're vulnerable to you. You're not vulnerable to them.
Okay, so I'll say I'll turn to the other two and say, "Go." I'll hold them off.
What? How do you respond? Everlass. So you kind of tackle Darrow over there. And Loki's told you that the two of you should go. Spectre's revving up the engine.
Wait, Loki said that we should all go?
No, he said that the two of you should go.
Oh, just me and Daryl.
No, Spectre's in the van.
Okay. Oh, Spectre's in his van or my van?
No, in the van where the artifact is.
Okay, yeah, so my van. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so Spectre's here. That's good. And he'll All right, I'm actually. I don't want to leave. I certainly don't want to leave him to the tender mercies of those killbots. So I'll take Daryl in with me.
Okay, so
But I'll let Spectre take the driver's wheel. And are there any other river people inside this van?
No,
Okay,
it's
it was just Daryl.
It's
Okay,
just Daryl.
yeah, just Daryl. I'll definitely take him with me, and I don't know. Maybe I could. Well, we'll worry about what to do with them later. But that's what I want to do.
All right, so yeah, they're packed into the van. They're ready to go. Loki, you just need to draw their fire.
All right, so I'm gonna. Do you see any other civilians that are still around?
No, I think you get the weird feeling that this place has been cleared out of people. Whatever it means, but like, no, there's not any civilians, just those three.
All right, so I'm just gonna fly in and flying tackle one of them, and then try and throw him into the other one.
All right, so it sounds like you're trying to defend the van.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right. So roll plus savior.
Seven, 8, 9.
9. All right. So anyone want to help? Bumped up to 10.
I suppose actually, yeah. If as he's specifically trying to drive the van, I think as he's leaping to the tackle, that's when I kind of, I think probably, Everlass and Daryl have got into the van, and I think that's the point when I just hit the accelerator and start. I probably do one of those kind of fishtail skids away, so it just kind of so that he's kind of less distracted by having to sort of immediately defend us from attack. I'll spend the point of team there.
Fab. All right. So that's on a 10 plus. On a hit, you keep them safe, and you choose one. You add a team to the pool. Take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition. Loki.
I'm gonna clear angry.
So, I think you tackle the three, and I think this is like just some cool shots in this comic book as Spectre guns it and just drives off, and I think you notice, Loki. Yeah. You're so fast that they just they can't before they could even shoot their lasers at you, just tackle and throw the other and toss the other, and they just kind of they tear apart in ease because you're used to like taking these things kind of apart. And yeah, the van kind of like, I think Spectre, you probably were told this, like, yeah, there's a pickup point where you drive off, and if you stop at a specific like street lamp in the middle of like the highway, that's where A.E.G.I.S is going to come pick you up. And I think there's a moment while Loki's taking care of the stuff. It sounds like you want something to do with these. You want to do something with these robots, Loki. But in a minute. So when you get to this the drop off point, and kind of like suddenly there's a bunch of A.E.G.I.S agents already waiting there. They've kind of like have like, there's two. I think one of them is Agent Grouse, and the other one is Agent Stride. I'll note those down. I don't know if they'll ever show up again. It's just names that come on top of my head. But they show up and they kind of like nod at you, Spectre. And then they look at you, Everlass, and there's Daryl, who's kind of just defeated and slumped there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, is that the last of the river cleansing there?
Yeah, his name's Daryl. His name's Daryl Francis. He's not hostile. He's not a hostile, I'll say. And we have.
Okay.
Did we actually secure the artifact?
Yes.
Is it, okay.
Yeah, yes.
And we also, yeah. Okay, great. And we've got the artifact secured. The subject is disarmed and no longer a hostile.
Oh, good work, Agent Imam. We'll take him off your hands then. When he calls you Agent Imam, Daryl just kind of winces a bit, but he's not going to.
Yeah, I'll just cry out to that. I'll get back in touch with you. I won't. I'll get back to you. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah, and I think as you can kind of hear this like mini chopper kind of about to touch down. The two of you are alone, and the agent Stride has gone off with Daryl. Agent Grouse is gonna go to the back of the van. The two of you are alone right now. This van. If you all want to vent or something, you've finished the mission. Breathe. You've done it.
Everlass will be still pretty distraught. I think she's just going to be coming off the adrenaline high right now, and she's still like maybe almost in a state of shock because she's still angry and afraid and all that stuff, and she's just.
You did real good there, Everlass. I know this kind of been easy for you, but the way you handled Daryl was great. I hope they can get him some help.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Vegas was willing to take me, and maybe we'll do something for him. I just, we practically grew up together. Now it's like my best friend and my parents are all in jail now, and all in jail by the people I'm working for now, I guess. Ugh. I don't know. Am I doing the right thing?
I think so. I mean,
it just seems like everyone that try to help ends up in the clink. People still use that word. We'll worry about that later.
I know what you mean. I ain't exactly. I didn't exactly join up by choice either. And back when I was running with my old crew. I mean, the guys in the suits, Coyote, they were practically the police back in Shoreline. It's difficult sometimes to trust everyone's got your best interests at heart.
So who do we trust?
Each other, I guess.
Oh, I'm glad you got my back. You definitely had my back there. That was a good trick with the tires.
I do what I can.
How's where's Loki?
Okay, before we get to Loki, it sounds like Spectre, you're trying to roll comfort.
Yeah,
you're trying to comfort.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's hope the dice respect you this time.
That's a 7 anyway, so
it's your mundane.
It's only 0 at the minute, so yeah. Okay. But yeah, that still gives me a 7.
Yeah. So on a hit, they hear you. They mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you.
I think let's see, is it my choice or
it's your choice?
Okay. I think I'm tempted to shift labels, but I think really realistically, I think getting rid of anger is probably the most important thing for getting back to normal.
Okay.
And I definitely calmed down considerably at this point, though I'm still skittish a little bit.
So when you ask like where's Loki, when the Spectre say to that, I'm trying to tee you up for a moment. Say it right here.
This might be a long game thing. I know I'm not going to be around much longer, but I think he'll get there in the long term.
I know. I hope he's okay with those robots. I mean, I know he's got the skills. I mean, I guess we could go back for him.
Didn't he take out a whole invasion of those things? Or
Something like that, yeah.
So what's about this? Let's. So did the two agents, did Grouse and Strad take the artifact too?
We'll get to that in a moment. Let's cut back to
Okay.
Loki. All right, so you're kind of alone and you've trashed these robots. Were you gonna plan to do something with them, or are you just gonna join back up with the team?
So yeah, we see Loki standing over the robots. I think he just leans down and tears the head off one, and opens it up to get at the CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Slots, puts the CPU into a slot on his breast computer, and he wants to find out who sent these. What's this the constitution of all things that we're talking about?
Okay, so let's go. I think there's two ways to this. You can unleash your powers and ask me a specific question of your choosing, or you can assess the situation so you can take advantage of your move.
So if I ask a follow-up question, does it have to be on the list, or can it be?
I'm not sure. And when I see stuff like that, I think it means it's not. The question's not on the list. I think for now, I'll say like, yeah, you can ask any question.
That's certainly my understanding as well with the follow-ups.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go for the steps then.
All right, cool. So assess the situation. Roll for superior. Wow. Hot damn. Yeah, ask two, and you can get a third one as well.
Okay. What here is the biggest threat?
So you're hacking this robot, and you're kind of piecing it together that the thing is they're kind of programmed very simply, almost to try and like deter hacking, to make sure no one notices where they are. Like it just says bring back the artifact to the restitution of all things. That's kind of their main program and whatnot. But the thing with the programming this is that there's some modifications there. It feels like a language that's been passed down like twice. You don't know who who is this passed on next, but you can tell who the person that's passed it on to had as in the one who actually programmed it, but you can tell that this kind of language was passed on to them by someone who you passed on this language to when you kind of created them. This language is very familiar because this stems from your work, Loki. I think here, if this was a movie, this is when you kind of hear her terrible screeching voice, and she's screaming these obscenities at you and at the world. If this was a movie, so to speak. But I mean, yeah, I think you know what is the biggest threat. At least you consider her the biggest threat. Your dear old creation, Eris.
What here is in the greatest danger?
It's interesting because you can tell is that they weren't even targeting you. I mean, even in this, because it's simple. It's just they're targeting that artifact. That's what they wanted, and I think you can tell. I think you can piece this together. Just seeing these simple scripts that were running in their head, that like this, whatever Eris is up to, she's gathering powerful artifacts. And what you know about the artifact that River Cleansing has, that it was specifically an alien artifact. And I think what you can tell is that it's weird. Eris, whatever Eris is planning, it's not much to do with you yet, but she's gathering power. Power of some extraterrestrial origin. And your follow-up question? Could be anything.
What here can I use to trace their origin?
Got all you needed. You're smart. You can reverse engineer. You can probably reverse engineer this like this PlayStation 4 controller I have into a solar powered submachine gun. You have these robots, and you can tell they're sophisticated, but sophisticated in the sense that someone managed to do a lot with little. But I think if you tinker enough with it, you can definitely trace Eris with these parts. And I think A.E.G.I.S is going to probably let you have them. I think when we get to the debrief, they will probably let you tinker with this. Yeah, I think.
So Loki's just gonna take the CPU out of his wrist computer and tuck it away in his apartment suit.
All right. Yeah, do that. And I think we're just gonna. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to the debrief, and then I have my one last scene with Everlass and see what she's up to, what she'll be up to. One more teaser before the debrief. I think while you two are waiting in the van, you can kind of hear the doors to the back of the van open. A bunch of A.E.G.I.S agents kind of like come in to grab the artifact, and they brought this like hover trolley, and the artifact passes you by. And what did you think? What did you think the artifact was, Everlass?
Well, I guess I assume it would be. I assume it would be an object that would contain the essence of another. At this point, now what I would understand to be another fallen tyrant from the history's dim past. So I'll assume it's something some object that's being possessed by the soul of something horrible, of like a horrible mortal who's still on this plane.
Yeah, I think when it passes by, what you expect? What you expect probably is like this big, tall plexiglass sort of case, and you see the object. It is kind of like this pendant that's kind of crackling open, but crackling out of it is this weird ethereal energy that's in the shape of this girl, whose hands are kind of on the glass, and her features look remarkably a lot like you. And I think this just passed you by as kind of the agents. She sees you, and she just kind of nods as if to say she's waiting for you. As the agents take away the artifact. Let's get to debrief, because the debrief is a whole big thing. Let's see. The move is actually in the NPCs and other matters tab. When you have finished a mission and return to A.E.G.I.S for debriefing, your team leader rolls. So +1 if you accomplish the mission goal, +1 if you achieve substantial success beyond the goal and parameters, -1 if any mission parameters were violated, and -1 if any of you were taken out during the mission. So you accomplished the mission goal. You definitely did. I think you definitely achieved substantial success beyond the goal and parameters. You discovered 2 factions. One they already knew, and one nobody knew. Nobody knew about the restitution of all things. Let's see. Did you violate any parameters?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we did.
Everyone saw you talking to your friend.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that parameter.
Yeah. None of you were taken out. So, yeah. Team leader, roll +1. Let's hope your luck holds.
So what is it? Plus what?
Just +1.
+1.
Oh, no, +2. Oh, yeah, no, +1. Yeah, +1, because the plus and the minus canceled each other out. Oh, dear.
Uh-oh.
What? Hold on.
That didn't sound good.
Do I have potential for that?
Yeah, let's mark potential. Let's see. On a miss, The mission had major consequences for A.E.G.I.S. The GM raises the intensity of the opposition by 1. It makes a threat move. Ooh, in between session stuff. And the handlers will tell you how your team's mistakes strengthen your opposition. I'm trying to think because that went fairly. Ooh. I'm gonna have to think about this. I don't think about this. But I think I think the weird thing is that when you get do the debrief, your handlers, I think they're kind of treating you fairly leniently. But you can tell they're because you all thought you did really well. You did everything and you managed to uncover another threat. But I think they're like when you mention in your debrief maybe Loki the restitution of all things, they kind of like you can tell that like the tenor kind of changes and they move from the congratulatory to like just all right, now that's fine, you did okay, and they're hiding something clearly for the moment. But I think after the debrief they've dismissed you, and yeah, I think it's just, I think was there okay. I think let's go to Everlass first. Like I think the three of you kind of left alone in this conference room back here.
The three of us being Spectre, Everlass, and Loki?
Yeah.
And okay. Is it just me, or did they not seem as happy as they should have been?
I mean, the whole situation was kind of messed up, but I mean, I think we did as good as could have been helped given, well, how crazy it got.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't blow up any of the buildings around us.
Well, we had it contained for the most part. So some unexpected wrinkles notwithstanding.
I don't know. I gotta. I'm sorry.
Something they're not telling us.
I don't know. Do you think they have? Do you think they're planning something for me? I mean, they're locking up everyone we've encountered from the river cleansing. I mean, the only one left is me. I mean, they're not. You don't really think they're just going to let me keep running with you guys, do you?
I mean, I think you've proved, yeah, on the right side and all of that. But I don't know. It's difficult to know what they're going to do, really.
I mean, what are they going to do with that artifact? I mean, did any of you see that energy coming out of it?
Have I seen the artifact? Did I get a chance to see it before it was?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think when you mentioned artifact, Everlast, you kind of get a beep on your communicator, and it's Agent Corellios, the research woman, calling you aside, like come to. It's just a room nearby, but she's telling you to come for a private like chat.
Oh, well, I guess here's where I find out what the next step is. Yeah, I guess I'll be back, or if they let me, I'll be back. Yeah, I'm still operating under the assumption that I'm still. I don't know how long these condition decks apply, but I'm just assuming she's still pretty. Even if the condition doesn't apply, I'm assuming that Everlass is still pretty afraid of what's going on at this point. So yeah, I'll go ahead and report to Agent
Corellios.
Yeah, Corellios. Yes, of course. Yeah.
So when you kind of come in, it's another nondescript. They have a lot of these. They've copy pasted these conference rooms, and this one, she's just all alone, and she's just sitting down. It's like, well, we've read through the reports, Agent Imam, and cards on the table. We were suspicious of what you were going to pull. But so suspicions provide to be unfounded. In fact, you did splendidly in your position, and I think we've done so well that we're pulling you off the Sirius team.
That doesn't sound like an award to me.
Oh, well, that's the thing with working with Aegis, my dear. When we say you're moving on to bigger and better things, that just means more responsibility and more work. She kind of presses the thing on her wrist, and the projector. No, not projector. That's lame. No, the holographic projector on the table kind of pops up, and it's a holographic representation of the artifact you saw. This
Okay.
girl made out of ethereal light, wavy hair.
Does it
And-
still clearly look like me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Agent Chris, like, we've rounded up quite a bit of the river cleansing, but we've not found anyone who's made contact with such an artifact like this and lived. So we need you for testing, for research, for everything to do with this artifact. And the Sirius team, we need them for something else. So we're taking you off them for now. But on to bigger and other things.
All right. So I'm looking right at what seems to be my face looking back at me. So am I the investigator, or am I just now the guinea pig?
Little column A, little column B. It's a bit blurry, but that's
not
how
a comforting answer.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's probably the right the best. That's probably the best way she can put it, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
Definitely.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just like, well, we need to ship you off soon to our other facilities. But
Wait, where another facility? Where are my parents going? Are they staying here?
Oh, we don't try to we try not to concentrate our materials in one place. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to meet them.
They're my parents. They're not Pedarials. She says.
Agent, I wish I didn't have to say this, but you should know very well that the faster we solve this, the faster we unravel the mysteries of whatever the river cleansing was doing, the quicker it is for you and your family to be reunited. So all I ask is for your cooperation in this mission.
I think she's going to ask for that in writing, like as if there were sort of like a plea bargain. She may not realize I know she may not fully realize she's dealing with S.H.I.E.L.D. here, but at this point, that's what she asked for.
Yes, because what's going to happen is she's going to keep you in this room, and we're going to skip like 2 hours later after lots of negotiation, and she's going to make you like very tediously like yeah, and then at the end of it, when you didn't notice it, but somehow there's like 5 empty cups of coffee at her end. She's like, all right, so sign that, and we'll need to ship you off soon, and it'll give you a chance to say goodbye to your friends.
Okay.
To your team.
Okay, and of course, I just realized I probably didn't have proper legal representation, but I guess that's the best you can do under these circumstances, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that's good. So yeah, so I'll go back, and Everlass will just say, "Oh, I'm being reassigned. Being reassigned to artifact detail. But this is the best way this is the best chance I got to help my parents out, and I hope Daryl too, and get back with them. But for now, I'm not gonna be part of the Sirius team anymore, guys. Just
I'm sorry to hear that. It's been good working with you, but like you say, if it's going to help your folks out and all, then it's probably for the best.
Yeah, thanks, Spectre. I really appreciate everything you all have done to help me get this way. If it weren't for you all, I'd probably still be running around doing the bidding of what's inside me. I just hope I can keep it locked up and figure out a way out of this mess. But I think studying the artifact is going to be my best shot at it. So thank you all again. And yeah, I don't know what. I'm sure I'll keep in touch. I know you guys are going to do great with.
Now, It was nice working with you. I put my hand out for you to shake.
I shake. Yep.
And do stay in touch. And I'm gonna carefully, like, rub off sort of subcutaneous communication device.
Oh, nice. I thought you were going to take a DNA sample of me, but you pleasantly surprised me.
And I give you a wink.
Excellent.
Look,
if that's okay with Leandro.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look, I don't know how soon they're planning on moving you, but let's say we go out and I don't know, just like get a burger or something.
Oh, I could use a burger. I haven't had a burger since third grade. That sounds awesome. And I just retconned that the river cleansing was vegan.
That's fine. Yeah, and I think we'll end there.
All right.
Going off to get a burger. One last burger with. Well, not to say there aren't any burgers in Artifact Detail, but there probably will be less. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. Let's do end of session stuff. Remember to do it during broadcast this time.
Yep.
Thankfully. At end of session, at the end of every session, choose one. Grow closer to the team, grow into your own image of yourself, or grow away from the team. Start with yourself, Spectre.
Yeah. I think. No, I think. I mean, I feel like I have grown closer to the team, but as both of the people I grew close to already have influence over me, I think I'm actually going to grow into the own image of myself.
How do you see yourself?
So yeah, I think that he has seen himself as becoming more capable in this mission. He was able to, help out. He was able to help out Everlass and get away with the artifact. I think. Just thinking what labels. I think I'm going to drop danger down.
Ooh.
I'm just deciding. Whether to go for. I think I'm actually going to go for a point in superior. I was going to go for mundane because, like, I still feel he's keeping kind of true to himself and all that. But I think I'm actually going to go for a point of superior. I think that's more interesting. Yeah,
because Spectre is doing better than back in Shoreline. That's for sure. Yeah, that's cool. Loki, did you grow closer, away, or into your own image? I assume his brother, Robert's brother, has come in at the most inopportune time from the pub. We were talking about that earlier. So we'll go back to Loki in a bit. Everlass.
Yeah, so the options are growing closer to the team, growing away from the team, or growing more into myself. I guess since I'm inclined to say the third because I'm being removed from the team, but at the same time, I have grown closer to both certainly Everlass and also Loki. So but at the same time, I'm kind of like finding this I've kind of created this new normal for Everlass's life. where before this all started, she was a cult member. Now she's forged a way to. She's not in the cult, and she's forged a way. Maybe shifty and tenuous, but a way nonetheless to earn her freedom and earn a reunion with her parents. I hope that doesn't mean they just throw in her cell next to her parents, but I guess we'd find that out at some theoretical feature play session. So I'll go for the third option. She's growing more into her image of herself.
I think you've explained it. So shift label up and label down.
Yeah. So let's see what would go up. I feel like mundane. I think, what would it be? The savior is already a +2. I think mundane goes down 1 because there's nothing mundane about her life right now. And you can go down to -2. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can go up to +3 as well.
Okay, +3 or -2. And I think let's see, my savior is already at 2. I could take it up to 3 if I really want to be focused on saving. Yeah, I think I do really want her to be focused on freeing her parents. So yeah, savior goes up to 3.
And you have an end of session move for the doomed. So at the end of every session, answer the question: did you make progress on defeating your nemesis? I think looking into the artifact and all that, I think you kind of did in a roundabout way. I'd say, yeah. I think securing the artifact and being part of this task to study it, and definitely open the avenue to. And you have A.E.G.I.S resources to look into it. You also have A.E.G.I.S breathing down your neck, but those are still resources. So I'd say the answer is yes. You can mark potential for that.
Sweet.
Oh. And finally, Loki. Did you?
So I think Loki was doing a lot more of trying to fight smart. Using his tech, to cause distractions and, using, distracting the robots for the rest of the team to get the artifact out of there. So I think he's growing into more of an image, his image of himself, sort of as maybe a sort of. A schemer sounds like the wrong word, but sort of I don't know, tactical thinker.
Yeah, you're definitely playing it smarter now because like I said, you're becoming less of just like a creative genius, more like tactical genius. Well, the mission went off fairly well. So So what labels are you moving up and down?
So I think I will put his danger down 1 and put his superior up to a 2.
All right, and you have 1 end session move, which really should have been paying more attention last time you were here. So. At the end of every session, answer the question: did you take steps to make amends for your shame? I think we've just started the threads towards answering that question more often. So probably not this session, but
yeah. If not, I think there's a condition if I don't. So
you give influence to one of your teammates.
I think they all have influence on me, don't they?
Not Gekko.
Gekko didn't, but
it would make sense.
Yeah. So I'll just give it to Everlass.
So that means Everlass can shift your labels.
Oh, thank you. Right. So I'll take Superior up 1 and Freak down 1.
Nice. All right. So we'll follow the threads of making amends with your shame. Since your shame seems to be up to something.
So my superior goes up to 3 and my freak goes to -1.
Yeah.
I would give them influence over me.
Yes.
Hang on. I'm trying to remember how this works.
Yeah, no, so they can shift your labels.
Yeah. Okay.
And they just did.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's end it there. Thanks again very much. That was ridiculous, and as always, you're all very fun. It's nice to. It was nice. It was weird. I ended up the January session being like, I'm done with action scenes. Let's just have some character drama. And spent an entire month doing character drama. It's like, all right, let's have an action scene now. Thanks very much for putting up with all that action. I'll stop the broadcast now so we can talk, debrief and all that. So